Good morning, good morning, good morning. What a great morning. To God be all the glory. Before I start the AA daily reflection conversation this morning, I need to give him praise through song. I surrender withholding nothing. Enjoy until 6:45. Okay? Got to give him the praise, got to give him the glory. It's not religious or endorsement of none of that. It's just my expression of how good God has been to me. Listen. Just meditate for me. So 6:45. I surrender all to you. Every everybody say, I surrender. To you. Everything I give. All of it. All of it. All nothing. Let's say that again. Say, I surrender. I surrender all to you. Everything I give. The Lord. It's all and nothing. It's all and nothing. Say, I surrender. My all to you. Everything, surrender it all. Give him everything. Everything. All and nothing. Withholding nothing. Let's sing it one more time. Say, I surrender. I surrender. Yes, Lord. Everything I need. Everybody say, withholding nothing. 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 I give myself away. I give myself away. So you can use. I give myself. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Oh my goodness, I almost went by 6:45, but you see why. I surrender all with holding nothing. So listen. I thank God for touching me with the gift of life this morning. I thank God for touching you with the gift of life this morning, today, whenever you're watching it. I thank God for this moment, this second, and being present. Being able to breathe, being able to feel, touch, see, taste. Because back in December of 2020, me and 8 members of my family suffered from COVID-19, but we survived, we yet live. So I am happy, I am glorious to praise and give worship to the God who spared my life and the lives of my grandchildren. My heart goes out to all sick and suffering families across the world, across the nation. Bless their souls, Lord. Just bless their souls. Even though this is This is the vehicle. This is the body. It's the soul that matters, the spirit that you created in us. Yes, bless all your children's spirits. So we are here with the AA January the 6th daily reflection reading. And guess what it says? The victory of surrender. And that's why I had to play that song. I surrender all without holding back nothing. Yes. And so we know that the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous daily reflection, is part of the literature that people in recovery like myself have been reading and embracing, internalizing, marinating on, meditating on. Daily reflections give us this day our daily bread. And so when we read the daily reflection, it is giving us what we need for this day. This day that we've never seen before, that we've never experienced before, not knowing what's going to come down the pipe this day. But when you develop a stance of surrender and surrendering all to the Creator, you, like I, can maintain, experience peace among the chaos. Oh, yes. When you have the victory of surrendering all, you have peace of mind. Yep. And so the daily reflection for today is going to be talking about the victory of surrender. So let me first say, I do not represent Alcoholics Anonymous, but I've been a proud and humble and grateful member for 31 plus years. And if it's God's choice that I live to February the 23rd of 2022, we will be celebrating 32 years of recovery from self, from addiction, alcoholism, the lifestyle, prostitution, all the stuff that goes with that. Even before I started drinking, those dysfunctional attitudes, ideas, and behaviors that were formulated and I learned from my family. I no longer blame my family. I no longer blame my parents. I no longer blame anybody because I surrendered all. And when we experience recovery, it's an ongoing progressive process. We will never fully recover till we get to the other side. And so we have to be satisfied and look forward to making progress. And so the daily reflections that we read every day, Lord, I hope I don't get a coughing spell, that we read every day helps us to focus on what it says today. So let's get started with the reflection reading for January the 6th. I'm going to read it to you, and then I want you to listen as I read it to you, and then we're going to share on it, okay? January the 6th, the victory of surrender. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps toward liberation and strength. Our admissions of personal powerlessness Pray for me, y'all. Can I hit the pause button? I thank God for being able to hit the pause button and to say, you know what? I'll be right back so that God can use me, quiet the spirit, quiet my mind, my body, so that I can be used by him. And so thank you for allowing me to be me. Thank you for allowing me to let God work on me. Thank you for allowing me to hit that pause button so I can continue God's work. Okay, so let's start again. Here's the reading that I started to read. It says January the 6th. The victory of surrender. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps toward liberation and strength. Our admission of power, of personal powerlessness, finally turned out to be the firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. This comes from the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions of page 21. The recovering alcoholic writes what it means to him. When alcohol influenced every facet of my life, when bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness, which I came to realize that by myself, I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol. I realized I had no recourse except surrender. In surrender, I found victory. Victory over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me. When I stopped fighting anybody or anything, I started on the path to sobriety, serenity, and peace. Did you hear what he said, y'all? Listen, let's do it again. The victory of surrender. We perceive that only through utter defeat are we able to take our first steps toward liberation and strength. Our admission of personal powerlessness finally turned out to be firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. Please go to the 12 Steps and 12 Tradition book on page 21 and read the whole narrative so you can get the full understanding of what the author is trying to convey. Now, let's hear from this recovering person's perspective as to what that quote meant to him. It says, when alcohol influenced every facet of my life, when bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness, when I came to realize that by myself, I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol, I realized I had no recourse except surrender. In surrender, I found victory. Victory over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me. When I stopped fighting anybody or anything, I started on the path to sobriety, serenity, and peace. Huh? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Huh? So let me give you my perspective, right? And I want you to again focus on what the saying is: the victory of surrender. Now, when you hear victory and surrender in the same context, you'd be like, huh? Yeah. Like me, I used to read, I used to hear from the physical standpoint. No, I need to hear from the spiritual perspective and how victory and surrender can go coexist in the same line. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. Wait a minute. The Spirit just told me to holler out to Hope Winchester. Hope Winchester, yes, my fellow sister in recovery. She's in her hospital bed and she surrendered her condition to God, but God is yet using her in her hospital bed. She can hardly breathe, but she is sharing from God's perspective what's on her heart to us. She surrendered in the hospital, on the hospital bed, to continue to share the word with you. To continue to share this recovery process to you. So let me tell you, while a person is on their hospital bed, probably, not thinking they're going to die or live, but that doesn't matter because they surrender all. So Hope Winchester, praise God for you. You are a blessing to not only me, but to the entire community who hears your voice. And thank you for capturing victory by surrendering your condition, but still being used by God. Woo! Tamika Strickland, yes, I heard you this morning. AJ Harding, I heard you this morning too. And when I think about how God is using people like Tamika and Hope and AJ, people who are not willing, people who are willing to be totally transparent, who have surrendered to their creator, to the God of our own understanding. So when you surrender all. And so when you talk about the victory of surrender, from my perspective, oh my God. See, it says here, right? We perceive, and it says here, that only through utter defeat. We perceive that only through utter defeat that we are able to take our first steps towards liberation and strength. Did you hear that? We perceived that only is a strong word. Utter defeat. Utter defeat. That's why in the other book it says every knee shall bow and confess that he is. Utter defeat of the physical, utter defeat of the destruction, utter defeat of the jealousy, utter defeat of this earthly journey, utter defeat. Huh? Through utter defeat, huh? Are we able to take the first steps toward liberation from this earthly journey and gain strength? Why is it that when we hear the word surrender, it goes back to the cowboys and Indians? When we hear the word surrender, we think about, okay, put your hands up. Okay, I surrender. When we think about that surrender in that context means what? Huh? You've outmaneuvered me. You beat me. You have the upper hand and in a negative way, right? It's not perceived as strength. when you surrender from the earthly viewpoint, right? But when you look at it through the spiritual glasses that I'm putting on now, that don't want to stay on my ear, right? Come on now. Right? When we in recovery, when we hear the word surrender, it says here, our admission of personal powerlessness, finally, another strong word, finally, personal powerlessness, finally, through that utter defeat, finally, through that utter surrender, finally, turns out to be the firm bedrock upon which happy and purposeful lives may be built. We talked about that foundation a few days ago, right? And so when I think about my addiction, when I think about everything that went with it, when I think about how it started out socially and then it wound up being a crutch, when it wound up being I couldn't put it down, right? I had to have it. People couldn't understand that my body had built a tolerance. So I needed more and more and more and more. And all I was doing was digging myself deeper in the hole, right? And so it says, right, through all of that, trying to substitute one thing for another. Let me get my glasses, y'all, because this thing is trying to, well, you know what? When I look back and I see how I had to get in touch with the first step, I had to experience total humiliation. I had to experience all of that, right? And have a humiliating experience to gain some humility to ask for help. So that is the bedrock. That is the foundation that worked for me and my perspective for what I'm getting from this reading. All those other times were preparatory times for the one and only surrender. But that one and only surrender finally turns out to be the firm bedrock upon which purposeful and happy lives can be built. If you know me, you listen. If you are around me, you know I am a happy-go-lucky person. It's the spirit within that no matter what, it's okay. Even during my addiction, I had the same type of personality, but it was used for the wrong reason. But God knew the gift that he gave me, and he did not take it from me. He just redirected it. And so now the victory of surrender, all of the old being fed new information, having new experiences, spiritual based, right? That weeded out the negative and put in the positive. And so now it's manifesting itself through the physical now. I am a happy person. I am living a purposeful life. The fact that I'm sitting here right now with you says God is using me. I have found my purpose. I am transparent. I fear no man. I only fear the wrath of God by not doing what he has commanded me to do. And so, yes, I live a happy and purposeful life. Why? Because of daily reflections like this. The victory of surrender every day. We have to surrender all. All. There's times I want to pick and choose what I want to give God. No, all. Okay. So let's talk about that for a minute. So I have built this foundation for over 31 plus years, right? And so it says here, when I look back over my life, I know that in the past, I did attitudes, behaviors were formulated way back then, right? And then as I began to progress in my life, I began to do what the adults do, what society do, happy, get the stress off, go drink, go party, this and that, right? Until such time where it no longer worked for me. And so it says here, when alcohol influenced every facet of my life. Did you hear that? Alcohol, drugs, the lifestyle, right? Influenced every facet of my life. Didn't start off that way. That wasn't my intentions. But the disease of addiction, the disease of alcoholism, the enemy does not care. It come to what? Destroy. Yes. To kill. Yes. Huh? And so me looking at how and why can't I control this? Why do I not have the power to stop? It says it here. When bottles became the symbol of all my self-indulgence and permissiveness. Did you hear that? When alcohol became the symbol. Are you serious? Alcohol, food, sex, shopping, clothing, men, women, what is consuming you? All those things were consuming me. Yes. When bottles became the symbol of all my selfish indulgence, it was all about me, me, me. I wasn't surrendering to nothing. I can do this. I got the power. I can, I will. So I thought, when I came to realize that by myself, I could do nothing to overcome the power of alcohol. Could you imagine 3:00 in the morning in the streets of Mount Airy, Philadelphia? Nice neighborhood, quiet, peaceful. I'm running down the street, running from my stepson who's trying to do harm to me. Yes. Could you imagine? Me not surrendering the keys to him, to my car. I kept on fighting. And when I saw the bottom of those parked cars, I got a flashback from the past. If I just get under the car, it reminded me of going underneath the bed when I was afraid as a child. When I played peekaboo and hide and seek, but I went under the bed and fear. When my parents were fighting and all the destruction and all that, and I put myself underneath that car because I didn't want him to get to me. And there, right? Imagine my face literally being on the ground underneath a parked car at 3:00 in the morning. Could you even imagine that, right? And while underneath that parked car, he is trying to, Edwina, surrender, paraphrasing, come on, it'll be all right. We'll get it together. Edwina, just come on. I help. No. I'm not surrendering to you. I'm tired of this life. I'm tired. My life flashed before me, and I was so tired. I was so tired. I was so tired. Oh my God, I was so tired. Oh, I was so tired. I was so tired. tired. I was so tired. I was so tired. I was so tired. I was tired. And then, after my life flashed before me, the rapes, the beat-ups, the abortion I had, the setups, setting people up, my family don't know what happened to me, my children disowning me. I was tired. I was tired. I was tired. Trying to commit suicide. I was tired. But it was something different this time. It was something different this time. I was tired. Oh, I was tired. I was tired. I was tired. It was something different this time. Finally, it was something different this time. Finally. And I cried out to this God that I didn't know, who I was taught was a punishing God. And my cry to him was, whoever they say you are, take me out this life now or show me a better way. It was my only surrender. Help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me, help me. I surrender. I give it all to you. Help me. Either take me out right now or show me a better way. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. Help me. And you see why the victory of surrender. I was surrendering to win. He finally had my attention. He finally had all my attention. He finally got me where he wanted me to be. Yes. And I surrendered. And guess what? It was a victory. Unbeknownst to me, it was a victory. The victory of surrender. Woo. Oh my gosh. I don't went past. Okay. All right. Let me see. Okay. Wait a minute. All right. So in closing, it says here, I realized I had no recourse except to surrender. And I'm so glad I did. In my surrender, I found victory. I found victory. One day at a time, 31 plus years, and no matter what, and I'm gaining more victory by surrendering any and everything that comes to me this day, every day. I surrender all because I know who I am and I know whose I am. Yes, the victory of surrendering everything to the God of my understanding, right? Victory over my selfish self-indulgence, victory over my stubborn resistance to life as it was given to me, right? Victory over self-pity and all that crap, right? When I stopped fighting everything and anybody, I started on the pathway to recovery, spiritual recovery, to sobriety, spiritual sobriety, serenity, spiritual serenity, and peace, spiritual peace. So do you understand how the two can coexist? The victory of surrender, you're joining the winning side. You are surrendering to win. Yes. So I hope this touched you, and I want y'all to enjoy this day, January the 6th, as you go about today. Surrender. From a spiritual perspective. so that you can have the victory and give the glory to God. If it's God's will, we will be back tomorrow. In the meantime, wear your mask, social distancing, right? Get vaccinated, get your booster shot, get your children vaccinated. Yes. Have the victory over this COVID-19 by doing your part to save your life and the lives of others. The victory to surrender to doing what is right and doing the next right thing. Enjoy your day, because I'm getting ready to go to my meeting. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord.